The Voyage of the Dawn Treader movie review. So even before seeing this movie, I knew that the reviews weren't great. It got some mixed or some poor reviews, but I wanted to see it anyways. For one, I had enjoyed the previous two installments in this film series, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Prince Caspian. Prince Caspian I've reviewed before on this channel. And also, like everybody else, I have very fond memories of these books as kids. If memory serves, I read The Voyage of the Dawn Treader twice. I think once around in 3rd grade, once around in 6th grade. I haven't read it since then, so quite a few years in the past now, but I still vaguely remember it. The interesting thing about the Narnia series, which makes it different than from, say, the Lord of the Rings series or the Harry Potter series, is how completely different each book in the Narnia series is. I mean, Harry Potter, for example, there's a lot of continuity between each movie. So the setting is the same, the characters are the same, the plot is largely the same from movie to movie. Whereas, you know, that almost sounds like a complaint, but that definitely works in the franchise's favor. Makes it easier to get the audience coming back again and again, because you know what to expect. These Narnia books, however, for better or for worse, are not like that. Each book is a completely different beast than the one before it. So the first one, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, was pretty much a straight-up fantasy epic story. And I know it was a lot more epic in the movie version than it was in the book. But, you know, there's finding the new world, the wonder at seeing the new world, the good versus evil epic battle at the end. Prince Caspian took all that, but then they builded on that the concept of legend and myth. So by the time of the events in Prince Caspian, the events of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe are so far back in history that they're treated as legends and only vaguely remembered. And that was kind of, I thought that was an interesting overlay to put on this. Voyage of the Dawn Treader, yet again, is completely different in tone and in plot than the previous two movies. It's a sea voyage type story. It almost reads like a fantasy version of Captain Cook's Diaries. You go to an exotic land, you encounter strange new people, then you go off to another exotic land. It works as a book. It's difficult as a movie because it gives it a very episodic feel as a movie, and what you want is a coherent plot where you're building momentum towards the climax, and that's difficult to get out of this book. As such, I think it requires you to be a little bit more forgiving when you watch it, and to just remember that the source material didn't lend itself to a Hollywood plot so much. But for those of us who remember the books fondly, it's fun to see the filmmakers make an attempt to bring this to the big screen, even though you can see that there are some parts that don't work so well. It was reported that the film was made on a much reduced budget. It almost didn't get made, apparently, because Prince Caspian underperformed at the box office. I thought they did a very good job of working with the money they had. The various oceans and landscapes that pop up in the film look absolutely gorgeous. It's very visually impressive. My one complaint is that there's not as many fantastic creatures. And partly this is because the script didn't call for any more fantastic creatures. But if you compare this to the two previous movies, I think in the two previous movies, you just had all sorts of fantastic mythical creatures hanging out in the background, which you don't get as much here. I suspect that's due to the reduced budget. They had to cut money on the CGI or whatever. On to the characterizations. Character of Eustace Scrubb is very annoying. Now, I'm not sure if you can complain about this or not, because he was supposed to be annoying. I mean, that's his character, that's how he was written. He's also supposed to fill out the comedy in this movie. And here, in my opinion, it unequivocally fails. He's able to do plain annoying just fine, but he never rises to the level of comically annoying. In my opinion, a lot of the attempts at humor in this movie were just plain embarrassing. On the other hand, I appreciated that they worked in a cameo for the two older children, Peter and Susan, the Pimsey children. In the book, if memory serves, they didn't appear in the book at all. So in the movie, it's a little bit awkward to fit them in, but I thought they worked in that cameo fairly flawlessly, and it was a nice nod to continuity of the previous two movies. And again, I think in the book you can change the focus maybe of the main characters easier than you can in a movie franchise. In a movie franchise, it's nice to have these callbacks to these characters you've seen in the previous two movies. Eddie Izzard, one of my favorite British comedians, was the voice of Reepicheep in the Prince Caspian movie. Unfortunately, in this movie, he's been replaced by Simon Pegg. I mean, Simon Pegg is good as well. I just thought, it would be nice if they kept the same actors for continuity, but it's a voice. I mean, the character is CGI, the actor's just playing the voice. So it works more or less. It's unfortunate that this was the last movie in the series. It would have been nice to see like what they would have done if they could have filmed the whole series. But the silver lining is, with an intellectual property this big, it's just going to be a matter of time before somebody else picks it up and gives it another try, and then maybe then we'll get the whole series on film. Who knows? In fact, I was just reading on Wikipedia right before I filmed this video that Netflix is making a series now. So let's keep our eye open for that. That should be interesting to watch when it comes out.